I think we're good to go. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another NBA Prize Picks. Whoops. Try that. Maybe the mic was a little too far away. Welcome to another NBA Player Prop Prize Picks live stream. It is me, Chavez. I am back. We are back with yet another live stream for you. Thought we'd take a little bit of a different approach with today's stream because we have such a short slate. Do me a solid. Let me know if the audio is okay because I adjusted the mic. And my biggest fear is getting into the live stream and not having any sound and going in 10 minutes in and nobody saying anything. It's like basically talking to nobody. Awesome. Thank you, ATM. All right. Yeah, so I thought we'd take a different approach. Still going to cover some player props, but in terms of the format, because we have a very short slate, I thought we'd go game by game and kind of go within the game and whatever player props are popping out to y'all within the game. We can tackle them all at the same time, and then we'll just move on to the next game. There are only 3 games. We got Philly, Denver, we got SAC and Phoenix, and then we got OKC and LAC. So not a whole lot going on today. So that way it'll help us cover everything. Very rare do we get the opportunity to cover every game in the stream because there are always so many. So the fact that we got such a small slate, we should be able to cover all of them. And that way everybody should get their player props answered, their questions answered and whatnot. So I think that's what we'll do today. Good morning, ATM. Good morning, Jim the Judge. Flogo, what's going on? Good morning to you all. Hope this stream finds you all doing well and in good spirits, as I always say. I'm going to use a different resource today. I used to use this format back in the day when I first started doing player prop videos. The site's called lineups.com. When I first started off, I was looking for free resources. I wasn't trying to pay money every month for every, resource I want, every resource out there. There's some good free ones out there. Some of them are very limited. This one is a pretty detailed, in-depth resource for NBA and MLB in terms of lineups, in terms of team rankings. So this one gives you a great snapshot of team rankings. So props.cash does a great job of giving you that information as well. But we can kind of look at all the teams at once over on lineups.com. It's a free publication. There is no referral code or anything like that with this one. So it's called lineups.com. You just click on NBA, click on team rankings, click on whatever you want. So I think we will use this today in terms of looking at the rankings, kind of giving you a little bit more in-depth breakdown. And then we'll still use props.cash to dig into the actual odds and things like that. So I think that's what we'll do today. Let's see, we got here. Good morning, fam. Torres Story. Andy, what's going on? True Allah, what's going on? Peace to you as well. His picks. True Allah's picks. Where are you playing these double props? Is that underdog? Is that a sports book? Flogo. The other day I asked you about a pick, gave me the perfect answer. Didn't know whether to run with it or not. Gotcha. Nice. SGA blocks and Harden assists both over. Yeah, we'll get into Harden for sure. And we get Taco Tuesday today too. So I did push the time of the stream back a little bit. Hopefully we'll be on the stream as the first taco is announced. Maybe not. But hopefully you don't lock a player in that ends up becoming a taco, because that sucks to have that taco drop at a lower line. I usually hold off on making a few lineups on Taco Tuesday just for that reason. But we'll see what they got going on. Let's start off with some injury news, because 3 games in the NBA, everything matters here. Questionable, you got Jokic, Murray. I just don't see the big guys sitting out for this game. MVP versus MVP, best center in the league versus best center in the league. I mean, depending on what camp you're in. All these guys can't sit out. The whole damn starting 5 for the Nuggets is questionable. So hopefully we get a good competitive game. And then you got Zubac is out and Bol. So fire up Daniel Tice. Fire up Mason Plumlee. Mason Plumlee's back. I wonder if Zubac just needs a rest, because he's been the only consistent. I mean, he's been the only big body they had in the front court for. I mean, probably took a toll on him having Plumlee out and them having to go snag Tice. So maybe he's just getting a few days off. But not a ton of major injury news, but just something to keep your eyes on moving forward. Hit that like button on your way in. Truly helps the channel out. We got 21 viewers. We should have 21 likes. That's how I say. 1 view, 1 like. Anish, what's going on with you? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Chat starting to fill up a little bit. Love it. All right. 3 games on the slates. Not a whole lot to dig into, not a whole lot to dig into in terms of what I got prepared. As you know, we're using props.cash today. Thanks 25 promo code. Get 25% off your first month. If you haven't signed up on Prizepicks, obviously most of you have, but all this information is in the stream description. All my video descriptions have my referral links. 100% deposit match up to $100 on Prizepicks. And then Shopper, being the newest partner of the channel, we'll spend a few minutes on the Pick'ems table today. I already checked it out. There's not a whole lot on the Pick'ems table right now outside of NHL. So we'll see what we can find, if anything. But Shopper, definitely, if you are not a research kind of person, if you just want the plays, if you just want to know what the percentage is for win rate and true odds, and don't want to do any player prop research, definitely OddsShopper is probably the better fit for someone like that. Takes all the work out, takes the guesswork out. You may not always agree with the picks, but more times than not, they hit. I've been in that boat where I just don't agree with some of the picks at the beginning of like the research process. And at the end of the night, I go back and I'm like, that shit hit. That shit went under like they said it would. So it also probably would help if I didn't consistently check the box score and drive myself insane, looking at every single freaking possession, getting mad at every single possession, So that would probably help my stress levels and blood pressure. But OddsShopper, newest partner in the channel. All referral information on the screen and in the it'll be in the stream description when I add it. All right. I don't have any plays lined up for you, but I do have a few players in mind that I want to start off with. And I'll make my official plays in the Discord. I'll put a slip in there for you to follow, for you to not follow, but it'll be in there. So like I mentioned, if you're just getting in the chat, good morning, hit that like button on your way in. We're going to be using the lineups.com format today, the website today, to look at team rankings. We're going to be breaking down each game. We only have 3 games on the slate, so it should be pretty easy to go through each game. Within that game, we'll cover player props for that game, and then we'll move on to the next game and so forth. If we won't be going back and forth between games, but at the end of that third game, if there's a player prop that popped up for a previous game, we can go back at that point. But just to keep it flowing, we'll just go game by game by game and try to keep it smooth like that. All right, let's pull up Prizepicks. Also, I have a really good idea. I want to share this with you all. If you are all on board, then we can run it together as a channel, as a community. I want to do a bankroll builder challenge. A bankroll challenge. Not to be confused with bankhead bounce challenge. I won that one already. I got an excellent bankhead bounce. Says me. Bankroll builder. So really, since I've been doing player props, I've been all over the place with my research process. I've been all over the place with my strategies and my betting amounts, my unit size, and all that shit. Trying to figure out like what works best for me. And the true answer is what works for me won't work for everybody, but to each their own in terms of how we build bankroll. But I do think we can all agree on this. The more bankroll we have at our disposal, the longer we can play. And I think the ultimate goal, aside from just winning money, is to keep playing on these pick'em sites and having minimal deposits. You want more withdrawals than deposits. Increasing your withdrawal amounts, increasing your withdrawal frequencies, limiting your deposit frequencies. And so that got me thinking, what if we all did a bankroll challenge where we grew our bankroll, but at the same time, we minimize our deposits? There's some rules to this. There's some boundaries we got to set and some things to follow. That way we're all on the same page. But I think it'd be a good idea for like 30 days. Let's see what it looks like for 30 days. So I'm still working on some guidelines here, but that's an idea that I had, and I thought it'd be fun if we all did it as a community. All right, whose car are we taking? All right, let's see here. Anish already with the plays. Jet Set TV, Fox points, also Fox under. Okay, Toy Story, cool. All right. We're on props.cash. Excuse me. We're on Prizepicks. All right. We're going to kick things off. First game on the slate. How I'm looking at this based off schedule. It's going to be the 76ers and Nuggets. So let's head to lineups.com. So let's look at the 76ers right now. Team rankings across the board. We can look at defensive rankings and offensive rankings. So 76ers allowing 111 points per game across the board here. I don't really look at it's hard to look at the points and be like, oh man, that's a lot of points. And you got teams giving up 120 points a game. It's the NBA. People are going to score. It's irrelevant, like to really put too much into it. I mean, unless you have a team like the Pistons that are just hemorrhaging points, but like seeing the 76ers lit up in green, giving up 112 points a game, it's not that much, honestly. You see against limiting offensive rebounds per game. But that defense is, though they play at a slower pace, they're not stifling teams, night in and night out. I mean, the Rockets made that game super close yesterday. Rockets looked like they were going to get blown out, and Rockets made it very, very interesting towards the end of that game. Also, we got the Nuggets here, very top. So these teams are pretty evenly matched in terms of points allowed per game. I mean, nothing separates them but 0.6. Turnovers, steals, not causing a lot of those per game as a defense. Everything else is, okay. If we go to the offensive side, so 76. I guess it's okay if you're allowing 111 points a game when you're scoring 122 a game. You can get away with it then. Offense looks fantastic here across the board. 3-point attempts a little low, but I don't think that's hurting them. And then we got the Nuggets way down here. So Nuggets playing at a slightly, slower pace, only scoring 115 points a game. 3-point attempts are down a little bit. Free throws made, free throw percentage. But the big categories, rebounds, assists, everything looks fine as an offense. So these are two pretty evenly matched teams. And I just think based off that and based off their star power, we should not see any blowouts today. Fingers crossed. So, all right. Team rankings, we just kind of went over those. Let's start talking about some Nuggets and 76ers player props. What do y'all have? Where do y'all want to start with the Nuggets and 76ers? We'll start adding them to the board over here. All right, so we got Anish said he has Embiid rebounds. Dude, we talked about this briefly in the stream yesterday. Like Embiid's player props were a little high, but not like what we're used to seeing. And talked about him being limited and things like that. But I mentioned that the Rockets are probably not a good team to bring him back against if he's not ready to roll, because the Rockets defense is much improved. And he did not look bad. I mean, come on, man. The guy had like 30 fantasy points at the half. He almost got his points and assist prop on points alone. He just had a fantastic game. I mean, he did not look rusty. He did not look bad. He looked good. So I don't think it's a bad idea to look right at Embiid again. The matchup's a lot different with Jokic on the other side, but Sengun is no slouch. And Embiid handled that pretty well. So we can look at Embiid props right now. Pulling up on the board. This is what we got. Embiid rebounds at 11. You got Embiid's points at 33. PRA at 50. PR at 44.5. PA, same line as it was yesterday, 37.5. So we got Embiid over 48.5, says Jim. Whoa, you got it at 48.5, man? It's at 50. That's a hell of a line. You got it at 48.5. That's awesome. Embiid over 32 points. Took him yesterday and he cashed. What's up, Jesus? Welcome in, man. Yeah, he's at 33 right now. All right. Aside from Embiid on the 76ers, we looking at anybody else? Let's we got Harris, we got Embiid, we got Maxey, and that's it. Unfortunately, that is it. There's a very, very limited board right now, and we don't have any 76ers on the injury report as of now. So we're missing guys like Oubre. Is Melton still out? So you're missing Oubre. Who else? On a 3-game slate like this, I'm sure we'll see some like alternate pieces added to the board that we don't normally see. So I guess we're just gonna have to wait. So right now we got Maxey, Harris, and Embiid. Under 50 PRA, says Andy. I mean, shit, I'd take the over 48 all day long if Jim got that at 48.5. That's very, very favorable to the over. But the 50 is, it's crazy what a difference 2.5 can, or what is that, 1.5 PRA can make. It's crazy. You don't think that it's that big a deal. We talk about the difference of like the 0.5. Ooh, 0.5 is everything sometimes. Oh, La Liga got games is throwing some college basketball in here. I gotta be honest with you, I'm not the biggest college basketball guy in terms of knowledge and player props, so I tend to defer to other people's judgment on those, unless they're terrible plays, and then I don't listen to them anymore. But at college basketball is I dabbled in it last season when we had I dabbled on it last season when we were in the All-Star break. It did not go well. The best part of the whole process was making the thumbnails for the videos, but the picks were not that good. I may try it again this season, but definitely not what I wanted. The result was not what I wanted. Maxey over blocks and assists. All right, let's check it out, Jim. Very popular play for Tyrese Maxey today on his assist, and he got his blocks right there. All right, so we're going game by game. If you're just joining the stream, welcome in, hit that like button. We're going game by game. We're starting with the Nuggets and 76ers, and then we'll move on to the Suns and Kings, and then we'll end it on the Clippers and Thunder. So if you got plays for those later games, save them until we get to that one. That way I don't miss anything. So if you're wondering why we're like just talking about the 76ers only right now, we got 3 games on the slate, so we can take our time a little bit with these breakdowns because there's not as much to cover, and the board is pretty limited right now. I thought I saw a Jokic prop in there under. Okay, Jokic under RA. Okay. I thought I saw that from ATM. All right. What's going on, Hector? Good morning to you. Big Icy, what's going on? Good morning, good morning. Taco Tuesday, Jet Set. Indeed, Taco Tuesday. I don't know what the taco is right now. Should be posted soon. I can't vote in the Prizepicks Discord because every time I try to participate, it says that my phone number is already attached to another Discord, that I have to like use another phone number or delete it. It's like I can't delete my fucking phone number. I'm a Discord owner. I can't. So I'm not sure what that error is. So I just watched from afar. I looked through the window and I'm like, y'all picked that taco today? God damn it. That sucks. I have a feeling it's going to be De'Aaron Fox today. Taco. Durant or Fox. That's my feeling. All right, let's do this. Jokic over points. Where are we at? 6. All right, let's head over to props.cash. And let's start looking at this game. So we're going to start with Embiid. We're going to look at Embiid's points. Currently we got his points on Prizepicks at 33. So it's still lower than what some of these books have. Opened up at 33.5 on other books. It was at 32.5 on Prizepicks, now bumped up to 33. So you can kind of see where this is going. This will be bumped up to 33.5 at some point. So if you missed it at 32.5, here's your opportunity to snag it at what will be the lowest line from this point moving forward, because it will be bumped up to 33.5, and then you'll be forced to either play it at that or leave it alone. But Embiid's points, monster game against the Rockets yesterday, 41 points in his return after missing what is that? 3 weeks, roughly? No, not 3 weeks. Only 10 days? Yeah, 10 days. Okay. Looking at his PRA, 49.5. We saw 48.5 earlier. We're seeing 49.5 on props.cash. Now we're seeing it at 50. So when we bump this up to 50, still doesn't look bad because he's touched 50 or more in 9 out of his last 10 games. Head-to-head matchup with the Nuggets. We do have to go back to last season. Almost a year ago. 70 PRA. That was the like Embiid winning the battle, but Jokic winning the war, having the Nuggets win the championship. Yeah, Embiid had a fantastic game. It was ridiculous. Doris Burke was slurring all over the damn place watching that game. So if you feel his PRA is in play today versus the Nuggets, he does have one positive game over the last year. It's not his fault. They don't play the Nuggets they're not in the same division. So it's not his fault they don't play them all the time. But when they did play, he put up a fantastic score. 9 out of his last 10 at 50. I don't know if we see this line move to 50. Well, PointsBet has it at 50.5. It's possible we see this get bumped up 0.5. So again, I think with all of Embiid's props, you take them where they are right now because this is the lowest they'll be all. They're not getting bumped down. So just keep that in mind with Embiid. Points, PRA for Embiid, and then rebounds for Embiid. His rebounds might be his best bet in terms of odds and just the line because you're getting it at 11 on Prizepicks compared to 11.5. Like all these books down here have this at 11.5. So again, this will get bumped up to 11.5. When we bring it down to 11, it doesn't change anything with his game log that much. He still has 3 games where he hooked it. Against Jokic, 2 uber talented dudes who can crash the glass, but I mean, let's not act like Embiid can't hold his own. So I think all of his plops, I think all of his player props are in play. So far, what I like his rebounds a little bit more than the other 2. But 50 is not a difficult number for him to reach. If his shot is falling, if he's getting the calls, if he's hitting the free throws, if he's doing all of the things, 50 is not a difficult number for him to go over. But right where we're looking at, I think rebounds right now are his best prop. All right, let's move to Tyrese Maxey. Let's look at Tyrese Maxey's assists. Oh, ATM. That's right. So Jokic didn't play that game last season. We'll find out real quick when I pull up Jokic. But yeah, that would make sense why Embiid went for 100 PRA. Tyrese Maxey sitting at Joel Embiid's assists are not on the board, but if you're looking at his points and assists at 37.5. So you're getting it at a lower line on Prizepicks. You're getting it for 1 lower than what the Bucks have it. This is also in play for Joel Embiid, 37.5. He hit 44 yesterday. All right, Tyrese Maxey. Where are you? 6.5 assists. Minus 125 on the under, minus 102 on the over. I think we'll see more consistency with Tyrese Maxey's props today. I don't think we'll see a whole bunch of line movement with these. I think they're pretty much set. I can't see this getting bumped up to 7, but 6.5 is where it is. He's gone over this in 5 out of 10, gone over this in 4 out of 5. He is projected for 6.37 assists today versus the Nuggets. Nuggets allowing the 8th lowest in the league. Blocks and steals for Tyrese Maxey as well. Want to look at that. This one is interesting to me. I already had this pulled up on props.cash when we jumped over here. I don't know if y'all saw that. I was interested in this one. I was looking at this one. It's not the best odds, but the odds are decent. Almost a coin flip. I mean, he has racked up 4, 8, 13, 16 steals and blocks in 5 games. 21 over his last 10. That's fantastic. It's fantastic. Take a look at his projections. Projected for 1.55 steals and blocks, so that's a smidge over 1.5. These odds are better than his assist, for sure. But I understand the logic in his assist because with Embiid back, he's feeding the beast a little bit. Had 7 assists yesterday against the Rockets. But even without Embiid in the lineup, his assists were good. So it's not like he needs Embiid in the lineup for him to, distribute the ball. I mean, he's doing it, quite a few games in that game log there. I do want to go back to Embiid very quickly. I think the only line we didn't pull up was his RA. At 16 on Prizepicks, 16.5 on books. Damn, and those pancakes are coming up. 104, minus 104 to the over, minus 122 to under. This looks worse than his other plays. I mean, he does have the 20-25 upside, but he also has the 13-14 floor. Even at 16, it just creates a couple of hooks or pushes. If you put any stock into the projections, where's Divine? Divine's not on the chat today. He was. I want to give him his props because Divine Miles yesterday was on Trae Young, and I was not off Trae Young. I was just going through the stats and the numbers, and they didn't make sense to me. If you were on the stream yesterday, a lot of the Atlanta Hawks projections were very low, not their odds. The projections down here where I'm looking right now, a lot of them were low. Trae Young was one of the lowest. I think he was only projected for like 22 points or some shit like that. The dude had 26 at the half. So Divine stuck with it, man. He said, I'm going with the points. He's going to score 35. And I'm glad it worked out for him. And they almost let that game get away, too. In typical Hawks fashion, they almost let that one slip. But here are Embiid's projections. 34 points today, 11. There you go, man. There you go, Divine. Rebounds right at the hook for Embiid. So you got his rebounds at 11 on Prizepicks, 5 assists, PRA 50. So he's a tick over that 50 Prizepicks, PR 45. PA 38.8 and then RA 16. So in a lot of these projections, he's pushing a lot of these props, which you can look at it in two ways. Push is not a win, or you can say, man, he's right there. And these are just projections. Like these are just like educated guesses, There's room for growth on these projections. So I think Embiid's in a fine spot. He's not getting terrible projections. He's getting a lot of good numbers down there. So covered Embiid, went over Maxey. Let's look at Jokic. I may be interested in Aaron Gordon dunks. If his dunks get put on the board, I got pulled into that dunk prop craze on Sunday, and Aaron Gordon had 3 dunks in the first half, I think. All right. It looks like Jokic played against. Oh, so Embiid didn't play. So Embiid didn't play in Denver. Jokic played both games. That's what it looks like, because we only had one game to look at for Embiid versus the Nuggets. We got two for Jokic versus the 76ers. All right, Divine wants to take a look at so Hector 5.5 rebounds for Harris, and Divine says Murray for points. All right, what's going on, Cutler? Welcome in, Cutler Stark, Tony's brother. All right, let's see. Let's run through them for Jokic. 25 points. This is a coin flip. If you got his points at 25.5, if these have been bumped up on Prizepicks at 26, it's obviously going to change these odds a little bit. I don't want to go too deep into Jokic's props just because I just think he's in a good spot. Embiid just got bumped up to 15.5 for his PRA. Not because I said it was going to, but we're just reading the tea leaves over here. You can kind of predict this shit. You can take a look at what all the other sportsbook have a line at, and Prizepicks has it lower. It's only a matter of time, probably an hour or so before it gets bumped up, because Prizepicks cannot have the lowest prop on the board. That is not how they make money. So you know it's going to get bumped up. So just get used to looking at the other books to determine where that line is going to be in the next hour or so. So Embiid's bumped up to 15.5. I think it'll stay at 15.5. Jokic's RA, that was mentioned. So rebounds and assists for Jokic, that is currently set on Prizepicks to 20.5. We're getting it at 20.5 over on props.cash. You can see -118 to the over, -108 to the under. Back-to-back games. I'm glad this is starting to get back on track, because this little stretch of games was kind of frustrating if you were picking his overs. -118, -108, 45 combined rebounds and assists in back-to-back games. New Orleans and Indiana. Indiana's a little bit of a softer matchup, but New Orleans has got some big bodies in the front court with Jonas and Zion, and then you got Nance coming in there as well, stealing all of Jonas Valanciunas' minutes. Nance is putting the damper on Joe Val's upside. Jokic is projected for 20 rebounds and assists, so slightly below what we're seeing his line at. But he got favorable odds, more in favor of the over, I should say. Head-to-head matchup with the 76ers. So take this for what it's worth. In the game against the 76ers where Embiid did play, he only got 17. But against the 76ers where Embiid sat, he had 29. That's a huge difference, man. I think that is the difference of Embiid playing and Embiid not playing. So I feel that Embiid is in a better spot for his props than Jokic. This to me feels like home court advantage type of thing, where Embiid's going to perform in front of the home crowd. Jokic would perform in front of his home crowd. I think just that little extra has Embiid slightly favored for his props, in my opinion. Jamal Murray. Divine says Jamal Murray's in a good spot for his points. Let's take a look at him. So Jamal Murray set at 23.5 on props.cash. Jamal Murray is not yet on Prizepicks, unless I'm spelling his name wrong. He's not on Prizepicks yet. Oh, Divine. Keegan Murray? All right. Yeah, we'll get to Keegan and Fox when we get to that game for sure. All right, let's see. Oh, Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris rebounds. I think that was a question in there as well. Toy Story said Harris points and rebounds. Jim said Harris under rebounds. And Hector Harris under rebounds. A lot of Tobias Harris unders. in the chat. Let's do it. 2 games versus the Nuggets. 6 and 5. He's averaging exactly 5.5 in those 2 games. Over his last 10 games. Now, this could be the Embiid effect, right? Embiid's out for a few games. You see Harris's rebounds really tick up a little bit, and then the game Embiid is back in, you see Harris's rebounds drop down significantly. Just to give us a better picture of what that looks like, I'm going to take Embiid out, and then let's just see all the games play without Embiid. In 10 games play without Embiid, at least the last 10 games, this is going back to one of these games is in the playoffs last year. The rest of them are this season. He's averaging 6.2 rebounds in those games without Joel Embiid. And then with Joel Embiid over his last 10 games, I guess I should select with Joel Embiid in the lineup. You see that Harris does have a few games where he's gone over, but he is averaging 5.5. So he drops down maybe like a whole rebound. When Embiid is in the lineup, he has 3 hooks, 3 unders. So this one makes a lot of sense why you're looking at the under for Tobias Harris rebounds. That's a solid look. And he is projected for 5.73 rebounds. Tobias Harris points and rebounds, we can look at that. So Tobias Harris points and rebounds, minus 104 to the over, minus 122 to the under. So you are getting odds in favor of the under. So I'm just going to, everybody's playing in this 10 game log. This is just, the lineup is what it is. You got games played with Embiid, you got games played without Embiid. So most of the time he goes over this line. Now his head-to-head matchups with Denver, can we say that Denver has an underrated or undervalued front court? Like, do people understand how big they are in the front court with Aaron Gordon and Jokic and even Michael Porter Jr.? I mean, he's 6'10". I mean, that's a massive 3 through 5 right there. Nuggets only allowing 42 rebounds per game. I mean, Nuggets defense is solid. We saw that on lineups.com. But yeah, this is a tougher matchup for Tobias. Tobias is considered a power forward, small forward. What small forwards have done versus the Nuggets, he had Buddy Hield. I'm sure he did most of that through scoring, not necessarily rebounds. He had Ingram go under. Just a lot of role players like Najee, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy. None of these guys are like crashing the glass on a consistent basis. I mean, Herb Jones, but I mean, you got Ingram as your starter, and then these 3 guys are like, they're not pulling big roles like Ingram, right? So I'm looking at the starters here. Jesus, man. Fontecchio had a 17.5 points and rebounds prop. Jesus. Bojan goes under. Miles Bridges goes over. I mean, you have some mixed results in here. You got players going over. You got a lot of players going under. So that's Tobias Harris's points and rebounds. All right. Let's do Jokic's assists, and then let's move on to the Kings and Suns. So, yeah, let's start getting some player props in there for the Kings and Suns. I'm going to take a look at Jokic's assists, and I'm going to pop on over to lineups.com. We'll take a look at some rankings, and then we'll get into some player props for the Suns and Kings. Jokic's assists, well, I got him at 9.5 on Prizepicks. Excuse me. I got him at 9.5 on props.cash. He is 9.5 on Prizepicks. So we don't have any discrepancies here. One up, one down. Again, we talk about the Embiid effect. Gameplay with Embiid in the lineup, gameplay without. Over his last 10 games, 4 out of 10, so 40% hit rate. He has a 40% hit rate over his last 5 and 10 games. No projections. Oh, there we go. Projected for 9.84. A little contradicting when you compare him to the odds. Odds are in favor of the over. Like, I don't want to say heavily in favor of the over, but you're getting a flat number here, and you're getting a big minus on the other side. So that there is definitely way more juice on the under than the over here. I'm curious if this game was being played in Denver, would these numbers be shifted? I think that home court advantage is a really, really big deal today in terms of how these player props are being presented with the odds. So this is kind of a coin flip. I mean, we obviously know his upside, but on the road against Embiid, a little tougher matchup for Jokic. But that's his 5 games and 10 games. Those are his odds. Again, don't get fooled by the head-to-head. You got to dig into that and see that he has 1 game up, 1 game down. Combined, the average is great, but on individual note, you got 1 game where he didn't perform well. And then there are his projections. Boom. All right. Moving on. Sacramento and Phoenix. Let's head over to lineups.com. Let's just look at quickly the Phoenix Suns and Sacramento Kings. We're going to start with the Sacramento Kings offense, putting up 117 points a game. Pretty much green across the board. 10 offensive rebounds per game, 43 rebounds per game as an offense. Three-pointers attempted, 3-pointers made. Solid numbers there. And then Phoenix Suns scoring 114 points a game. Offense obviously not as fast or high-flying as the Sacramento Kings. But in all fairness, Phoenix hasn't been healthy as a team all season long. So we still have yet to see what they can actually do as a team. In terms of defensive rankings, got to scroll down. All right, so I guess it's safe to say that the Sacramento Kings don't play great defense. They're giving up 118 points a game. There are their stats across the board. They are allowing a good amount of defensive rebounds per game. They are limiting the opposing teams' offensive rebounds, but a lot of red here. Just a lot of red across the board. 3-point percentage, 3-pointers made. Not turning teams over a lot. They're not forcing a lot of steals. They're not blocking a ton of shots as a team. Allowing 49% from the field in terms of field goal percentage. And then the Suns, a little better, not allowing as many points per game. They are giving up quite a few. This green is a good thing for the defense. So limiting the rebounds, limiting the defensive rebounds. They are allowing quite a few offensive rebounds per game. I think this is a pretty even matchup in terms of if the Suns are going to be completely healthy. I think this will be a much better game than if one of those big three sit. But I think worth noting, Sacramento Kings giving up a lot of points per game. This is a great spot for the Phoenix Suns today to put some points on the board. So, all right, what are we thinking? Joel Embiid over rebounds, Joel Embiid over points. At home, yes. I'm just making like a decision. Oh, look at that shit. It got bumped up to 33.5. I told you. Prizepicks. Stop listening. If you're going to listen, at least drop a like in the comment, Prizepicks. I'm undecided on Maxey, but I'd rather play this at 6.5 than 7 if this were to get bumped. Maxi, we like the over on his blocks and steals. Jokic under rebounds and assists. I will take a stand on that one. Joel Embiid, this one's tough for me because it did get bumped like twice already, but I just like Joel Embiid at home. I think this is one of those lines where you can take it even if with the bump because he's at home. But these are the plays that we covered. All right, getting rid of that. Moving on. Sacramento Kings. Divine wanted to talk about Keegan Murray points. You want to talk about Fox points and Keegan Murray? All right. We're kicking it off with those two player props first. This is probably a better game in terms of player props and fantasy scores, to be honest with you. What's going on, Ashley? No worries. We're still here. Let's see. Anish. Yeah, we got Fox points pulled up on the board. Jim says Murray over block at 0.5. We got Hector saying Barnes under 2.5 rebounds. So blocks and steals. Murray. Oh, but just blocks, right? Just blocks. So Keegan over blocks. We got Harrison Barnes over under 2.5 rebounds. Monk rebounds, says Anish. Monk rebounds. Where the fuck is it? Monk not on the board. He got taken off or never was. Anish. So we can't look at Monk right now. Is it Jai? G? Either way, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the chat. Yes, we got Harrison Barnes up on the board at 2.5 already. Booker RA, says Anish. Cutler Stark. KD points and rebounds. KD points and rebounds sitting at 33.5. And then Booker RA. What is his RA? Like 13? 12? All right. Yeah. Casio. A lot of Barnes. Oh, you're seeing a lot of Barnes over? A few in the chat like his under. So on a 3-game slate is like very slim pickings, you know. Let's see. Grayson Allen, 2.5 3-pointers made. Got Grayson Allen points. All right. We got 6 on the board right now, so I can't put any more. Yeah, I figure this game would bring a lot more player prop questions than the 76ers and Denver Nuggets. So let's do it. We're heading over to props.cash. We are going to pull up starting with De'Aaron Fox points, as that seems to be pretty popular play. Now, let's keep in mind what goes down must come up. Fox has been in a pretty bad slump, man. Well, he's been in a slump. There's no such thing as a good slump. Fox has been in a slump. Last game was his first game scoring over 27 points since the beginning of the year. 6 straight games. Now, he needed overtime to get that too, right? We talked about that. We talked about his lines being super low. Like, those projections had him going like well under 30 points. He was right there at his point prop, and then going into overtime definitely helped him. But the end result is the end result. We can't control overtimes. It's not what we do here. If I could, I would be making a lot of money doing something else. So, De'Aaron Fox, coin flip, 27.5 over on props.cash, 27.5 over on Prizepicks. And just in case y'all were looking, Keegan Murray's points got bumped down from 15.5 to 15 over on Prizepicks. So if you're already looking at the over at 15.5, you got to like it at 15. De'Aaron Fox versus the Phoenix Suns. Ooh, 2 games this season, 34 and 23. De'Aaron Fox is projected for 23 points, 4 boards, 5 assists. Bit of a pace down game for the Sacramento Kings, but I do like the fact that we're not getting any movement on his points. It's like people are kind of sleeping on this a little bit. If you feel this game against Milwaukee was the game to get him back on track, and now he's awake, this is a great opportunity to jump on this, because if he's about to kick off a nice little hot streak, you definitely want to be on that streak at the beginning. You don't want to be jumping on that shit when his points are at 29.5, 3 days from now. So I think this is a good spot to jump on is over. This is should be a competitive game, barring injuries or anything like that. Let's look at Keegan Murray's points, because these got bumped down to 15 from 15.5. So we can take a look at what that looks like. Slight odds in favor of the under. Odds slightly in favor of the under. But with 15, if we bring this down, you can see it does change one game to a hook or to a push. Two games against the Suns this season, 13 and 21 points for Keegan Murray. I bet you most of that was done in the first half. Nope, I was wrong. All of it was done in the second half. Hey, if you want to bet first half and second half, maybe you look through his second half props today. But overall, 15 is where he's at today. He is projected for 15.37. So you are getting favorable projections for him today, slightly over that as well. Also wanted to take a look at Keegan Murray blocks. So odds are slightly in favor of the under on this one. 2 games played this season, he has no blocks versus the Suns. However, he does have 6 blocks over his last 4 games. 2, 4, 6, 8 over his last 10. He's averaging roughly 1 block per game over his last 10 and a little over 1 over his last 5. So he is projected for 0.54 blocks, which is slightly over. Projected for basically 1 steal as well, and 1.31 steals and blocks. So there's Keegan Murray. Harrison Barnes. We'll take a look at Harrison Barnes, Durant, and Booker. So no Sabonis. No Sabonis questions. No Sabonis props. Every game I see this dude's box score, I'm like, how the hell is he leading his team in assists? Like, that shit's, I still can't wrap my head around him racking up like 15 assists a game. That's insane. All right, so yeah, I see why you're looking at the under on Harrison Barnes rebounds. 5 straight games of going under, 3 games of 1. Over his last 10, he's only hit this in 2 out of his last 10 games. When you stretch it out to 10 games, he's gone he's gone 1 or less in 5 games. 2 games where he did go over, he went over with 3 and 4. Minus 130 to the over on this. So the odds are in favor of the over today versus the Suns. In 2 games versus the Suns this season, he does have 8 and 1. So he's averaging 4.5 over his 2 games versus the Suns. Looking at his projections, he's only projected for 2.3. So this is closer to 2 than it is to 3. So you got a decision to make here. You can go with the odds and say, hey, this is a game he turns it around and gets you 3 rebounds. Or you can go with his game log. You can go with his history versus the Suns, which is kind of like a 50-50. And then you got the projections that are in favor of his under as well. So who said that there was a lot of people were on the over for Barnes? Who was that? Whoever that was, whoever you were. Yeah, this is why people are over on him if they are playing his rebounds, because of the odds. But digging into it, we see a really ugly game log, really ugly history here. Harrison Barnes is just very frustrating to pick. Unless somebody's injured in that starting 5, it's very difficult to pinpoint his production. All right, let's see. Oh, Casio. Yeah, Casio said a lot of Barnes over. Let's see. Clidius Smooth, what's up? William Phillips, welcome. Let's see. Qonnie. Cuny? I'm sure I did not pronounce that right. Welcome into the chat either way. All right. Yeah, Barnes is super risky, but either stay away from him or just put him in a flex. You don't want him fucking up your power play. Who else? Oh, Durant, Book. Those are the 2 left on the original group of props. Let's take a look at Durant, starting with his points. We'll run through. Kevin Durant, minus 120 over points, 106 under. He has gone over this in 5 out of his last 10. His head-to-heads look a little bit better than these other dudes we're looking at in terms of their head-to-head matchup. 2 games played, but this is going back to his days as a Brooklyn Net, right? 2022. He was not in Phoenix yet, right? Anyway, plays the Kings well. We already know Kings giving up a ton of points. We took a look at their team rankings over on lineups.com. You know they're giving up a ton of points. 3-point percentage is very high. And middle of the road in terms of rebounds. Slightly worse than the league average in assists and 3-pointers made. Kevin Durant projected for 26.24. This is slightly below his line today. You can take a look at that and say, I still like the over. I think he can get you 27. You're close enough to that line to take that risk, or you can just stay away from it. Want to take a look at Kevin Durant's points and rebounds versus the Kings in those 2 games, 31 and 35. His points and rebounds over on Prizepicks are set to 33.5, so there is no line discrepancy over on props.cash. Over his last 10 games, he has gone over this in 5 games as well. Taking a look at his projections for points and rebounds, he's projected at 33.32. So you're getting a lot of projections that are slightly below his line today, which is not a terrible thing. It's really close to that line. And I guess the question to ask yourself is if he's that close. Oh my God. If he's that close to the line already, can he get you 1 extra point? Can he get you 1 extra rebound in those situations? So if you feel like the answer is yes, then just, look at those projections and just know that, there's room for him to get a little bit more. If this is a competitive game for the Suns, then how can Kevin Durant not be involved in this and be a big factor in that game? So Kevin Durant is in play. That's the understatement of the year. Kevin Durant is in play. All right. Looking at Kevin Durant's rebounds and assists. I don't know what this line is on Prizepicks, but if this is something you're looking at as well, very, very good odds to the over, despite what we've seen over his last 10 games. Projected for 12. Kevin Durant projected for 12.41 rebounds and assists. His rebounds and assists over on Prizepicks has been moved up to 12. So it is still slightly over that, but you're just not getting as favorable of a line for Kevin Durant. So do with that what you want. Devin Booker, RA, was one that popped up in the chat. So let's take a look at it. Currently at 12.5, you're getting minus 140 to the under, but we know that it's at 12 on Prizepicks. So if we bring this down to 12, doesn't move the needle at all for his 10-game logs. It just makes it easier for him to push or go over. 2 head-to-head matchups with the Kings this season. He's gone over once. He's gone under once. And then he's projected for 11.94. So yet another example of projections being right there. You feel that he has another rebound or assist in him, he gets you 13 today. If you are a live and die by the projections kind of person, then you don't want to play this because it's going under. But projections are just meant to give you an idea, kind of shift you in that, just to give you a picture of the prop. Because if these things were like gospel, I mean, Props.cash will be charging you $100 a month. So just know that projections are also just a guide. There's a guideline. Give you an idea. So I still think Booker's in a good spot. You're still getting it at a lower line. Projections are not terrible. So I think this one is playable. But just know that push is in play. He can easily land on 12 and not get another rebound and assist. So, all right, we just went through all 6 of these props that we initially brought up. You like the over on De'Aaron Fox, assuming he gets it going today and keeps that starts a new streak. Block shots for Keegan Murray. I didn't really have an opinion on this one, but if you like the over, we'll go ahead and select over. Harrison Barnes, I agree. He's too risky to take overs on. If you're going to play Harrison Barnes props, put him in a flex. Do not put him in a power play. Kevin Durant, like the over on his points and rebounds, and Booker. Keegan Murray's points are in play due to that point drop, but we took a look at those numbers as well. Great game against the Phoenix Suns last time out, so it's not like he hasn't done it before. All right, let's get rid of that. I know there are a bunch of questions in the chat over this game, so let me just scroll through and make sure that I didn't leave too many out. I see Sabonis a lot, so if you have a Sabonis question, what I'm going to do is just pull him up on props.cash, and we're going to go through all his props together versus me going one at a time, one by one. So I got him pulled up on Prizepicks here. You see where he is. You got some combo props here with Sabonis and Embiid rebounds. All right. Vu says KD not a good pick right now. Okay. In terms of like right now at this point in the season, like he's struggling, like he's just not, like he doesn't look like himself, or do you mean just for this game? Beal over PA. I was looking at Beal 25.5. I started my research with Beal this morning. So, all right, Jim. Welcome in, everybody. I got to get in the habit of saying this throughout the stream. Hit that like button on your way in. Hit that like button on your way in. Unless you plan on lasting the entire stream, we got usually another 30 minutes or so. And then you can like it on the way out. But easier to like it on the way in. That way you don't forget. Let's see. We're gonna go to Clips versus OKC in a second here, Cutler. All right, let's look at Sabonis's plays, and then Vu says just today. Okay. Nice typo. Grayson Allen, a sleeper. All right, let's do this. We got Sabonis pulled up on the screen. These are all his lines on Prizepicks. We're going to go to props.cash. And we're going to start with Sabonis. And then we'll go to Grayson Allen. And then we'll go to OKC Clips. All right, let's see here. So Sabonis's points are at 21.5 on books. However, aren't we getting it at 20.5? So I like his points today. 20.5. These are his games versus Phoenix. 2 games this season, 15 and 28. Over his last 10, 70% hit rate over his last 10. Some of these matchups are cake, like Charlotte. Atlanta's given up a lot of rebounds and shit per game, but they still got some big bodies in the front court. It's not an easy matchup for him. Like an easy matchup is Charlotte. But Atlanta does pose some resistance. And then there are some games in here that are just like kind of tough, like Philly, Orlando. Milwaukee's tough, man. Like in their front court, we talk about how their defense as a whole has taken a hit without Drew Holiday in there, but you still have Giannis's big ass in there. Ugo. I told myself I'm going to start calling him Ugo now. Maybe you don't notice about him, but his Nigerian given name is Ugo. The man's mama named him Ugo, so I'm going to call him Ugo. Much easier to say Ugo than Giannis. Giannis Antetokounmpo. Just say Ugo. Ugo just rolls off the tongue. All right, so Sabonis' points look good over his last 10, over his last 5, 60 and 70% hit rate here. I see that comment, Vu. Vu said he's going over. Are you going to over assist for Sabonis? We'll get to that. 7.5 is a nice line to attack if it's still there. 8.7 assists projected today. 21.53 projected points for Sabonis. His assists look great. Jonathan Lewis, welcome in. Anybody name Hugo or Ugo gotta be a giant. Gotta be mean. I knew a kid in high school named Hugo. That dude had like rocks in his brain. That kid was just mean and just like he hit hard. Like he was on the football. He was on JV. I feel like he was like 23 years old. I don't know. That dude had like 5 o'clock shadow and shit. So I don't know what that was about, but he was mean. I was like, damn, everybody named Hugo is mean. I get you. I get where you're coming from. Sabonis's assists look real good at 7.5. They are still 7.5 on Prizepicks. So favorable odds, favorable numbers versus the Phoenix Suns here. And you saw his projections at 8. So, all right, last player from this game, at least for now, Grayson Allen. We're going to take a look at his points. Yeah, Philly Carter, welcome in. Yeah, it's a nasty slate. 3 games on the slate. It will cause you, it will tempt you to reach and force props into your slips. I say restrain yourself, because tomorrow is a better day with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games. So there's always another day. All right, Grayson Allen. Poor Grayson. 12.5 points is his line. 0 for 3 versus the Kings. And this is this season. These two are last season. So Buck, I believe he was still on the Bucks in 2022. Sun. 5 out of his last 10 games, 50% hit rate, 60% hit rate over his last 5. Projected for 13.75 points. Grayson Allen, odds are not terrible here. You know the Suns give up points. Run and gun for Grayson Allen. It was I don't know if y'all watched the Old Man in 3, JJ Redick's podcast. Like one of his earlier episodes, he had Grayson Allen on there as a guest. And it was funny hearing them talk about like all the names they were called in AAU and in college. And like I think the most common name they were called was bitch ass white boy. And Grayson Allen was telling the story, like his first like AAU game, like somebody was like, I got the bitch ass white boy, pick up bitch ass white boy and all. And so they were just like relating on all the names they've been called throughout their NBA career and college career. And I thought that was pretty funny. I don't think anybody, I'm sure people have called him Grayson Allen at some point. I don't think we're the first ones, but if we are the first ones, that's pretty cool. So 3-pointers made for Grayson Allen. He has only gone over this in 3 out of his last 10 games. 3 out of his last 5 look a lot better. I know there's a lot of injuries, like, no Beal in the lineup, and, we've had a lot of moving pieces, but I know for sure these last few games have been with a fully healthy squad. Projected for... Wait, where is he? Grayson Allen today is projected for 2.7 3-pointers made. So if you're looking at his 3-pointers made, if you're on that, you are not getting terrible odds here. The game logs do not look great. His head-to-head matchups do not look all that great. Although his one game as a Sun against the Kings, he goes over. And his projections look pretty fair. 2.7. All right. Moving on. OKC, Clippers. Oh, shit. Hold on. Real quick. Token white boy. Let's see. Real quick. I left out Beal. I left out Bradley Beal in this game. Real quick. Start getting the OKC clips in the chat so we can start pulling those up on Prizepicks and taking a look at them on props.cash. But Bradley Beal's points, getting in at an even odds, -113 to both sides. No games as a Sun here to look at, so we won't look at his history here. It's irrelevant. Over his last 10 games, he's gone over in 60%, and in 60% of his last 5. Bradley Beal is projected for, seeing a lot of green here. So Beal is projected for 22.66 points. If you're also looking at Bradley Beal's points and rebounds, projected for 28 points and rebounds, 27.5 points and assists. Not as favorable odds on this one, but back-to-back games of 28 plus points and rebounds for Bradley Beal. Another one you can consider. He's pretty active on both sides of the floor. 3 out of his last 5 games, he's gone over RA. And then 4 out of his last 10, he's gone over RA. Not the best odds. I see that right here. But keep in mind the matchup. And keep in mind their defensive rankings for the Sacramento Kings are not great. And Bradley Beal is projected for 3 rebounds and assists. So there's Bradley Beal. Let's move on. Let's talk about OKC and the Clippers. Who are we starting off with? This will be the last game of the stream. We're looking at SGA right off the bat. Let's start OKC. Well, Oklahoma. All right. We're starting off heavy with SGA points at 30.5. We're looking at PG threes as well. I'm gonna scroll up. I know there are other comments about this game further up in the chat, but I'll scroll back up in a second. PG does not have a 3-point prop on Prizepicks. Let's see. All right. We got Leonard over RA, 10.5. This shit got bumped. We got it at 8.5 a few days ago, 9.5, 10.5. And hopefully he hits today if you play the over, but at some point he won't hit, and then it'll get bumped back down, and then you can start taking the over again. Put that in a fortune cookie. Any game that Taurean Prince starts, the Lakers will lose. Shai Gilgeous got bumped up to 31. You still like it at 31? He needed 31 to go over 30.5. So he still needs 31 regardless. Adam says he was a big fan having a white boy on the team, token white boy on the team. Chet PRA. We got Chet PRA. Ooh, is he the taco? Oh, you're just saying that would be a good taco. Hold on. Not up yet. Nothing up. All right, cool. So we're looking at, damn. Oh, shoot. You know what? Is SGA questionable today? So remember, SGA yesterday was questionable all day long. He was a game time decision. He did not get ruled in until what, 15, 20 minutes till tip off. SGA is not on the injury report at all, but on a second leg of a back-to-back for SGA. Okay, so that's old news. So it's possible that that's probably what's holding up some of these Oklahoma City props. It's possible for a player to be on the board and then get ruled out hours later. So just because he's on the board doesn't mean he's locked into the starting 5. So maybe that's why we're not getting. Yeah, because when you go to look at Chet, nothing pops up. When we go to look at, I'm just going to type Thunder in there instead of Oklahoma. That's all we got. No Jalen, no Giddey, no Chet. So let's talk about some Clippers then, because outside of, unless there's another SGA prop you guys want to take a look at, we got his points on the board. We got Leonard the Courageous Lion up here at 10.5. Yeah, no Zubac either. Zubac is out for the Clippers. So I was gonna say fire up Plumlee. All right. Vu said Shea's going to get the taco. Well, shit, if they make him the taco, then I would say he has to be playing. That would be a terrible taco. Prizepicks would really have to scramble and make up for that one if he ends up being ruled out. So, I mean, right now, Shea's the only one on the board for the Thunder. Ashley said Harden under points. 16.5. So yeah, I guess we're just gonna talk about Clippers. The only Thunder on the board is SGA. So unfortunately, we can't pull up any. Thunder. Looking at some RA for both Kawhi and PG. Giddey is banned. Giddey's banned from every high school prom in America. But yeah, I understand. He's banned from your lineups as well. You see like Giddey dressed up like a maintenance man with like a fake mustache and shit. And like he's just at like a high school prom and he's acting like he's mopping the floors, but he's like taking notes and he's like watching from behind plants and shit. Oh, Becky has second period Spanish. All right, I'm gonna go clean that room. All right, I think that's it for this game. There's just not a whole lot to dig into for this game because the board is very, very small in terms of player props, and they basically just whacked out one fucking team. So we got Leonard RA, we got SGA points, we got Harden points. Under, we like the over on these RAs. Maybe we'll change our minds once we look into the props a little bit more. But for now, we got a few mostly overs, one under. Let's just take a quick look at the board and see if there's anything that stands out for this game. You got Harden's rebounds and assists. You got SGA's rebounds and assists. Let me do this real quick. All right. Number one play on the Pick'ems table on Odd Shopper is Jokic under rebounds at 11.5. I don't know if we covered that as an under or an over. It was at the beginning of the stream, but there's a bit more supporting data if you're looking at the under. Also looking at the under on his assists. No current EV or win rate here. True odds of -125. Under Bradley Beal, 30.5 PRA. And then under Harris, 1.5 3-pointers made. Just a few player props that are on the Odd Shopper Pick'ems table. So nothing for the Clippers and the Suns. All right, let's go. Props.cash. I'm gonna start off with SGA. Gonna take a look at SGA's points. I wish his points were at 11.5. So we got his points bumped up to 30.5 from 30, but you're still getting it at a full point under what some of these other books have him at. Listen, if you like the over on his points now, I say you need to take the, well, no. If we got a suspicion that SGA's points are going to be the taco, hold off. Hold off on that. The worst thing is to take the over on some shit and then it gets bumped down to 6 less and then it's a bad feeling. So let's take a look at the 30.5 that we are seeing on Prizepicks. and that looks a lot better. Obviously, if this gets bumped down to what, 25.5 was the line, Vu, put it in the chat. Damn. Is it not going to let me go lower than 26? There you go. Okay. So 25 and 25.5 points obviously looks a lot better in his 10 games than 30. So if this is your taco for the day, then this is what it looks like. He has gone over in 80% of the last 10 games. The only 2 games he's failed to go over, last night and Brooklyn. His head-to-head games against the Clippers, he has 1 game this season. He went for 31. So 31 gets you over his current line. And obviously Taco historically has played the Clippers very well over the last couple of years. It's not like the addition of James Harden is adding a new element of defense to the Clippers game. You know, we can think of all the scenarios. Oh, they're going to lock him down with Leonard. They would have done that already. Oh, PG and Leonard are going to lock him down. They would have done it already. So there's not a whole lot of scenarios you can play to, like, unless he gets hurt, unless he gets limited, unless they're blowing them out or getting blown out where his minutes get cut. But in a back and forth competitive game, there's not a whole lot of scenarios you can create that have SGA having a really bad scoring night. So at 25.5, if that were to taco, it does look a lot better than 30. He is projected for 31.6. A lot of green across the board. He is projected for over almost that's 12.75 rebounds and assists. His PRA is projected over. Just a lot of overs in terms of his projections for SGA. So this one is looking okay. His RA is not at 11.5 anymore. It's at 12. But let's look at that together. Over his last 10, he's gone over in just 40%, but he is getting really good projections closer to 13. All right, let's look at Kawhi Leonard's RA. 10.5 is the line. He has gone under in just 4 out of last 10, so 60% over his last 10, 40 over his last 5. In his head-to-head games with the Thunder, this is last year, March of last year, 2 games over, averaging 11.5. Oklahoma City is allowing bottom of the league production. Well, they are bottom of the league in rebounds allowed, which is good for the opposing team. Middle of the road in assists allowed. And then looking at projections for Kawhi, 10.36. So slightly under his 10.5 line. So again, you're not getting terrible odds. This is kind of like a coin flip. Projections aren't over, but they're close enough to where you can see him getting you another rebound or another assist. Paul George, 9 rebounds and assists is what his line is over on Prizepicks. So we're going to bring this down to 9. Doesn't change anything in his history versus the OKC Thunder. Is this the revenge narrative for Paul George? Man, that trade worked out for both teams. I mean, Paul George did not want to be in OKC. The Clippers felt that he was going to be the piece to get him a title. And OKC got the face of the franchise. So, pretty good trade. 9 rebounds and assists for Paul George. He has only gone over this in 3 out of his last 10 games. We are getting a lower line from what the books have. 9.5, 9.5, 9.5. So 9 is still lower than 9.5. So you're already getting a favorable number there. Looking at his RA projected for just 8.18. I don't know. maybe this one isn't the best line to take for Paul George. I would love if they put up a 3-point prop for him. Anything 3.5 or under would be great for Paul George. All right. So James Harden assist, or excuse me, James Harden points. Where are you at, James? All right. 16.5 is his line. -118 over, -108 under. 3 out of his last 10. You see all that there. Head-to-head matchup with the OKC Thunder. One game as a Clipper this year. 23 points against them. And then the other game was as a Nets. We already saw defensive rankings for Oklahoma City and then projections for James Harden. So projections are falling under his line of 16.5 by 1, basically 1 off here. Slight juice in favor of the over, but nothing too crazy here. You can make a case for either way. You can make a case for the over. You can make a case for the under on this one. Assists for James Harden, in case you were wondering. These assists for James Harden over on Prizepicks are sitting at 9. This one has been bumped up. And over his last 10, James Harden has hit 9 or more in 80% of those games. 9 or more in 4 out of 5 games. Only projected for 8.1 assists. Again, 15.52 points for James. My bad, everybody. Just realized I wasn't showing you this screen. Shit. James Harden assist here. 5-10 games. Been bumped up from 8.5 to 9. Projections on both his points and assists don't look all that favorable, but there is a case to be made for either over or under because the lines are so tight and the projections are pretty close to the lines. Points one more time for James Harden, 16.5. Again, you can make a case for the over under on this one. Over his last 10, and then head-to-head matchup. That game versus the OKC Thunder back on the 21st of December. He did go over that. All right, let's see. I think that's it for James Harden, unless Prizepicks has put more plays on the board for us to take a look at. So Leonard over, Shea, hold off on Shea. But in the event that his taco is, in the event that he is today's first taco, you like the over on his points. In the event he's not, if you like his points and he's not the taco, I say take the over on his points because they're only going to go up. Like if he's not the taco, the other books have this at 31.5. These will be bumped up if he's not. Does that make sense? Wait and see if he's the taco. Take the taco over. If he's not the taco, take the over on his points anyway. Only if he's not the damn taco, because they will get bumped up. Harden, undecided on his points. I mean, you can go over, under. We can make a case for both sides because the odds. Paul George, this one I wasn't really feeling as much as Kawhi's RA, to be honest with you. But it's at a flat number. You are getting it at a lower line right now. So maybe consider taking the over, or just stay away from Paul George rebounds and assists. We've seen him go out there and get like no damn rebounds in certain. He'll go a whole half without getting a board, and then have to make up for it in the third and fourth quarter. I hate those kind of props because I firmly believe that you can overreact way too soon. Like within the first 5 minutes, your player hasn't scored a point. It's very easy to flip out. They still have 3 more quarters to go. But I do believe that by a certain point in a game, if that player has not reached a certain mark, they're probably not going to get it. Like if you got a 30-point prop for Shea and it's the third quarter and he only has 4 points, he might make a hell of a run, but it's looking really bad. He has to do so much in 8 more minutes, 10 more minutes of playing time. So I don't like to overreact, but there is a point in the game where I'm like, this shit's probably not going to happen because this guy needs to do so much now to make up for what he didn't do. And that's kind of what I feel about Paul George sometimes. He goes out there and 1 for 7 from 3, and you took the over on his points. It's looking bad. So Paul George, the other ones feel a little bit better on those. All right. Divine says, no Zubac. How does Harden get 10 assists? I don't know, man. That's a good question. Plumlee rolls pretty well too. I mean, Plumlee rolls. He moves good for a big man. But if there's a prop for Harden you would take, I would probably look at his points, just because maybe without Zubac in the lineup, you do put a little bit more scoring on Harden and Kawhi, or maybe not. But yeah, I totally understand. Harden can't just create assists by himself. Like he can't just pass the ball to himself, right? That'd be dope if he could. That'd be dope if free throws counted as an assist. I would love that. What would assist numbers be like that? Like if a player gets fouled in the shooting motion and they shoot free throws, if they make both of them, that counts as 1 assist for a player. That would change the NBA forever. That shit would be like Arena League football at that point. I don't know if you remember NFL Blitz. It'd be like NBA Jam. Yeah, it'd be like NBA Jam if the NBA did that. All right. Appreciate that, Jim. All right, I think that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, hit that like button on your way in. 53 viewers right now. I think that is the most that we've had on a live stream since I started doing live streams. So maybe this 9 a.m. start time works better. Maybe more people can join. I love it. The more the better. The more the better. I love being able to provide this information to you all. Again, we did use a different site today called lineups.com. Lineups.com is a free publication. There is no promo code or anything, but what we used it for, if you didn't see the beginning of the stream, is we just used it to take a look at team rankings versus looking at each team as we go on props.cash. We can look at all the NBA teams at once, and it has all the categories across the board, and much easier to get a snapshot of everything versus going back and forth. So yeah, lineups.com. Check it out. It's free. It's free to use. All right. If that is everything we got for today, we don't have, again, very few Thunder on the board aside from SGA. That was the only Thunder. We didn't have a lot of the player props up for the Clippers yet. So I'm sure a lot of these player props will be added as the day goes on, but keep your eyes open for injury news also. I think it's a unanimous in the chat that if SGA is the taco, and we are taking that taco. Ashley said, can you see what Leonard's points look like without Zubac? Let's look at Leonard and Harden. I do think his assists can hit at 7.5. I like the over on that one for sure. So Leonard without Zubac in the lineup. So let's look at his points before. 40% hit rate. He's averaging 24 in 10 games with Zubac in the lineup. We're going to take him out of the lineup, and smaller sample size. 5 games played without Zubac, 60% hit rate, and he's scoring 31 points without Zubac in the lineup. 2022, Leonard was a Clipper, right? He wasn't in Toronto then. He's been in LA for what, 3 years now? So that's Kawhi. With Harden, it's going to be a little harder because he doesn't have a big sample size. He only has 30 games as a Clipper, whatever it is. So there are going to be a lot of games on here when we take Zubac out that don't count because he was in Philly. But as is, Harden has gone over 3 times, averaging 16.3 points in 10 games, with the lineup being what it is when we take out Zubac. So look, Philly. Only 1 game play without Zubac. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense to check it out for Harden. I just wanted to see if it would actually show us information, but it really doesn't. We do know Harden without Embiid was a good mix, but that's a different situation where Embiid took up so much usage. So yeah, this is not a big sample size right now to look at Harden. We could take a look at Paul George. Points played. Oh, is Zubac still ruled out? No. So Paul George, over his last 10, he's gone over 5 games. He has a 26-point average in those 10 games. When we take Zubac out of the lineup, a little worse. Drops down to 22.4 and only a 40% hit rate. That's a little surprising. So we got Kawhi Leonard. When Zubac is out, Kawhi Leonard takes a lot of that usage. When Zubac is out, Paul George doesn't really command as much usage. So hope that helps shed some light. I just learned something. I didn't know Paul George really his numbers took that big of a hit without Zubac in the lineup. Interesting. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we are done. Appreciate y'all sticking around, lasting this long on the stream. Hit the like button on your way out. If you didn't hit the like button on your way in, every single like, comment, view truly helps this channel grow. Share it with somebody. Share it with somebody you love. And as I always say, regardless of the player props you roll with, mine, your own, somebody else's, if you fade everything we talked about on today's stream, it's all good. I just hope whatever player props you roll with, that they all respect the damn coin. Tomorrow's live stream, I think we're going to stick with the 9 a.m. start time. I love the views we got on today's stream. I want to keep it going. And then tomorrow's live stream, we're also going to talk more about the bankroll builder. Not a contest. It's just like a movement. We want to add money to the bankroll. We want to limit the deposits and increase the withdrawal amounts that we have. So I'll introduce that tomorrow, and if you're on board with that, then we'll do this together as a channel. But again, thank you so much for stopping by. Appreciate all your support. Hope all your plays hit for you, and be sure to check out my player props, my slips. I'll put those in the Discord. All that information you can find in the stream description. Until tomorrow's live stream, Chavez is out.